All right, three, two, one. We are live. We are live. Good morning, everyone. It is 7:07, which means it's time for 7 minutes of sunshine. The sun is shining today with Donte. Hi, Donte. How are you?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm so good. I'm so better now that I get to talk to you this morning. Um, I'm really excited to have you. I have been following you on Facebook. You friended me. I friended you back.
Yeah.
Um, and it has been, Donte Woods-Spikes, my friend, you have just, it's been great to see your work and great to see what you're doing to engage people in a
Mhm.
positive way. And you engaged me. How would our paths have crossed, right? I mean, and
Right.
so you've had the most engaging posts. And for all of you who don't know, Donte is a filmmaker and has just produced a documentary called As a Matter of Black. You have got to check it out. And then also this movement called Empathize with You.
Mhm.
And you can support Dante's work at patreon.com. I have it on the screen, but his work is just, your work is making a big difference. So I like to find folks like you, Donte, who are doing good in the
Thank
community.
you. Thank
And
you.
you agreed to share your values and superpower with everybody, right?
I did.
All right. All right.
I
Well,
did.
that's why we're here. I'm going to put, we made a little slide together,
Mhm.
which has the values and superpower. I'm going to
Yeah.
put that up so folks can see it. I'm going to go away for a little bit. I'm going to let you do your thing. All right.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Cool. All right. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Tom, thank you for having me. It's interesting that I have an opportunity to really talk about my path and journey because sometimes when you get interviewed, it's more so about what it is that you're doing. If it's making films or if it's the movement that I'm doing to empathize with me. But this is an opportunity for me to dig into myself and share pieces of my journey and who I am. So I'm very grateful for that. As you see, in the center of this circle of different things that make me who I am, you see the word empathy. Um, a couple of years ago, I started a very intense journey to figuring out how can I be a little bit more empathetic with myself and with others around me. And the four things outside of that circle, I would have to say sums up everything that helped me make it to that point.
Mm.
So one of the first things I would like to talk about is developing compassion. Compassion is tricky because sometimes we believe we are kind. We believe we love people correctly. We believe that we say and do things in a loving manner, but sometimes it's all about our perception. And it's hard to get beyond that wall and that barrier because, you know, inside of your mind, you believe you processed everything, you've broken it down, and you made sense of what's right and what's wrong. Sometimes compassion is reserved for the person you least likely would like to talk to or be around, or somebody that you would not consider to be a friend. And when I found out that compassion for those people is something that's just as important as for people that I like, I've been able to transition to different areas, different crowds, different people, different minds, different values, and find ways to exist in those environments and also make new friends that have given me opportunities and chances that I never thought I would have. And that all comes with the compassion. The next thing that I would like to talk about is love. Love is subjective in all ways, shapes, and forms. You know, there's some people be like, I'm in love. It's like, hey, if you're in love, you're in love. There's love for your family. There's love for your children, love for your friends, love for your community, love for materialistic things, love for your favorite TV show. But finding love inside of you is something that can be a little bit difficult because sometimes our trust and our love in particular can be abused. It could be distorted. It could be taken advantage of. And I had a conversation with myself about what exactly is this love that I believe in. Not the TV love, not the love that's always been taught to you, but the love that you experience and the love that you know that you want. And once I found out the love that I wanted, I had to recognize that I had to learn how to also give it with balance, though. You cannot give away love that you don't have inside of you. So that's something that I believe really helped me make it to this place right now. And I hope other people as well, because that is such a tricky thing. But love is love, right? You feel me? You feel me? Intentionality is next. So to be intentional, it gave me a reason to do the things I said I was going to do. Because you can have ideas, visions, dreams, things you want to do, but it's so easy to put it off. It's so easy to say, not today. I'm okay, not today. I don't have it. It's not perfect. It's not the way I want it to be. I didn't create it the way I envisioned. So I'm just going to put it off to the side. And when you're not consistent with yourself, once you develop those relationships and friendships with others around you, it's difficult to be consistent with them. And you can begin to self sabotage. So opportunities can be given to you, and you're like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm good enough. And for me, I was able to overcome that when I became intentional with myself, not trying to force intentionality on others first, but with me. And it's helped me develop better relationships and opportunities with myself by just applying all of those intentional values that keep me afloat and doesn't make me suppress my gifts and my talents. And the last thing of this ever evolving circle is consideration. So you learn about compassion, love, intentionality. How do you actually apply those things? You have to consider that it's not always just about you. The journey of life and the feelings and emotions, the ups and downs, all of these things you go through. Sometimes you feel like you're doing it all by yourself. I've been there. Um, and you kind of have this self-centered I had a self-centered perspective, and it was very easy for me to project my thoughts and feelings onto others. I could tell people what they thought about me, even if I did not talk to them, even if they didn't say anything wrong to me. There was a stage in my life where I knew you didn't like me because I felt you didn't like me. I had to consider that there may be others that are thinking the same way as me. And I had to think and understand that there may be something that I said or done that's just as hurtful as I feel they've said or done something. And that blocks that wall of friendship, that blocks that wall of compassion, it blocks the wall of love, it blocks the wall of intentionality. You don't have opportunities to become close to anyone if you can't consider what someone else is feeling. So, through consideration, that really opened up my doors to friendship and all of the other values that I've shared, which lands us right back into the middle of empathy. My biggest thing with empathy is challenging myself to make sure that I'm digging deeper into someone else's life and someone's story. My personal deal that I made with myself is if I cross paths with someone that I don't agree with, or someone that makes me just shut down and not feel comfortable, I have to do research on you.
Mm.
I have no choice. I have to find out what's going on. If I'm considering myself to be this empathetic, understanding individual, I have to find out what's causing me to separate and isolate myself from this person. Is there a possibility that we could sit down and talk? Sometimes you don't need to talk to everyone. That may not be the answer. It may not be the time. But what is it? Is it my ego? Is it me projecting? Is it me being uncomfortable with this person because there's things about them that reminds me of myself? Is it jealousy? Those the definitions and words that we usually don't apply to ourselves. Is it my ego? And those things are very powerful, but I believe with empathy, we can always overcome those things. We just have to be intentional with the love that we have and compassionate towards those around us. And that opens up the door to consideration, which brings us back to empathy. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're everybody sees what you're saying. You said it beautifully. I love the way you weaved everything together because they are a circle.
Yes,
And
yes.
there is that center kind of superpower that we have that really when we use that gift, when you're
Mhm.
using that gift of empathy, everything falls into place, I think, for you. And it is falling into place for you.
Yeah, it's working, man. It's working for me. I'm so honored.
Well, and you've done so much work. You've
Mhm,
done so much self work, as you've shared with us, which is, then it shows in your work as an artist,
mhm,
and now you're uplifting so many people along the way. You've helped me. Your posts are so provocative.
mm.
The way that I'll be looking through my feed and I'll see one of your posts, and I go, sometimes I'm like this. Uh, and I'm like, I'm gonna share something personal about myself
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
I don't even know. I didn't even like so. I mean, folks, look for Donte on Facebook.
yeah.
Okay, look for him. You're doing great work as an artist, but also just making connection in such a beautiful, authentic way. I just want to say thank you for all the work that you're doing. You told me a little bit about a girl you've been working with
Mhm.
for many years. Can you share that story real quick?
Yeah, so that that was my very first documentary project.
Mhm.
And the way that happened was so in the neighborhood that I work in, you always hear about statistics, you hear about poverty, you hear about uh, food insecurities, all of these different things. And I started recognizing, I'm like, wait a second, I'm literally in the environment that they're always talking about.
Mm,
And something caught my eye. They were talking about how Black girls are sometimes ignored and resources are not provided for them. And I also saw that most of the resources that were provided for teenagers and grown women were after the fact. So after tragedy happens, they have resources. If a woman's abused, now they have a shelter. It's like, whoa, can we be, can we be a little proactive? But I had this little girl that I always would see. And I ended up getting a job, and she was at my job at the school that I worked at.
mm,
And something just came over me where I knew I had to do something major. Um, and I figured as a mentor, if I'm mentoring this young girl, I have to go beyond just sitting down with her and laughing and joking. I have to think about her life and all of those stats and whatnot that I was seeing. I thought I have to figure out how to combat that and make sure that she doesn't fall victim to these things. And I know I can't protect her and save her from the world. But what I do know is a person with a little bit of influence and a creative mind. I thought about creating a documentary and showing people who is this little girl that I'm attached to, that I know, that I take places to give speeches with me, that we're in paintings together and whatnot. What's the story behind that? Because that looks great, but let's approach the serious issue at hand. Let's talk about young Black girls and what they go through and what we need to do as a community to better support them.
mm,
And I just talked about the things that I learned so far in my journey, because a lot of men are not caretakers in general of children. Also, men more than likely aren't going to be the caretakers and the nourishers of young girls.
mm,
So that's another topic within itself.
mm,
How can men become healthy mentors and role models for young girls?
mm.
So it's not only me sharing what I've learned so far, what I've accomplished, but hey, I also need some help. I don't have children. So if anybody saw that, they could be like, hey, Donte, this is something similar that I went through. And this is some information that I have that you can apply to your life in the time that you spend with this little girl. You know, this is what you can give back to her. This is what, or women now that have went through things, whether it be positive or negative with men, they can say, hey, Donte, this is what worked and this is what didn't work. And this is how you can be the best mentor possible for this young girl.
Fantastic, Donte. Thank you for connecting with that guy. What's her name?
Her name is Day Mariah.
Oh, beautiful.
Actually, hold on, where's the painting? Right.
Oh, you got a painting of her.
Isn't that right there? This is me right here.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
What a joy. What a joy. Well, hey, thank you so much. I have your Patreon thing up here again. Folks, support Donte's work.
Yep.
It will literally uplift people and change lives. So thank you for your work. I appreciate it. I'm going to stay connected to you, my friend. And thanks for spreading a little sunshine today. And remember, even when it's really damn cloudy out, Donte, the sun is always shining.
I believe it.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir. I love you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great, great day. All right.
All right. You too.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.